Alright, I've got my bolts here for my intake manifold to bolt it down to the gen set. I bought some replacement stainless bolts. I bought the shorter version instead of the longer ones because these two longer ones were to hold onto the bracket that I don't have anymore and the shield that goes on top of the exhaust manifold. So I don't need these longer bolts anymore to make up for that. I'm also going to fix a couple pinholes in the exhaust manifold where I welded that patch plate. So I'm going to try this stuff and see how it works out. Got to read the directions and apply this to a couple of the little pinholes that are showing up on the exhaust manifold. And of course there's the carburetor setup ready to go and all cleaned up. And we're going to get you out here. It's about 28 degrees out today. So don't really want to work outside for a whole lot of time, but what I've done is I've cut one of those little Wonder erasers in half, and I've stuck it down into the cylinder, top of the cylinder, done it on both sides, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to clean up a lot of this in here, wherever I can. There's the exhaust manifold with that patch plate, and you can see where there's some exhaust blowing out of a couple of spots. This side's pretty good. It's in good shape, but that one over there has definitely got I got a couple of little exhaust things where I just couldn't get it with the MIG welder. Just could not get a tight seal unless I did a couple more hours worth of work. So I'm going to use this product to see what happens with it. And so that's what I'm going to do there. Get this cleaned up a little bit more. Next project, I'm going to actually I think I'm going to replace these plug wires with some nicer plug wires. Going to make them myself, reuse the boots back there, unless I can find some new ones. Also get the coil one redone, so everything will be looking really nice for that. And get everything cleaned up, and whatever I can replace readily I'm going to do, and keep it in good shape. And we also got the fuel line I need to put back in. Probably after I clean this off, I'm going to put the fuel line back on. It was too much of a monkey business trying to get everything on with the fuel line, so I'm going to see how that's going to work out and get this thing reinstalled and fired back up and see how she does. Right now we've got some of the patch on the header, exhaust header. We've got the top of the Onan cleaned off of pretty much most of the grease and some of the paint too, unfortunately, with the brake cleaner stuff that you get here. This stuff is the most effective degreaser I found in low temperature, so it's cheap, it works, and it also evaporates off of the parts you're working on. I also took some rags and made sure that I cleaned everything off, so I'm just about ready to take those pieces of foam out and get the carburetor and intake manifold back on the gen set. I've managed to get the fuel line installed. You can see here it's not snug as it was before. You know, it's a 30-inch line. Had to make some accommodations. Got the clip on with the rubber protector here. Got most of the wires over it. The ones that are under it are still loose. You can still get, you know, they're not snug, tight, and gonna get in trouble here. As you can see here, the carburetor and the intake manifold is on. The one bolt that gave me issue was this one. Didn't seem to want to line up good enough to mount the entire intake manifold, so I had to loosen up all the other bolts that are on here and in the back here. I don't know if you can see those. With the light it's hard for me to tell with the camera. I can see it, yeah, so I got that there. There you go. So I've got those in enough to just, you know, start them. And so this was the one that I had issues with, that it was a little tough time getting it on, but I did get it on. The fuel line is connected through the back here, as you can see. I haven't put the breather hose back on. I'm going to do that now, if I can find the location of it there. Stick it back up onto there's the little clip's gone. I've never been able to find that little clip anymore, but at least the hose is back on where it needs to be. Back here. I hope you can see that right in here. So that's back on in here. So we're going to go back. I got that all put together. I've got my lead on for my choke. Choke still says off, hoping that at some point this will maybe start shrinking and head back in the other direction. It still feels like it's got a lot of tension on it, but again, it's been in the office for a long time, in a really warm office. So I'm going to start tightening these bolts up, and once I do that, I'm going to adjust the screws. That one here appropriately. I'm going to back that out. The I think it's 1 1/4 for that, and the 1 7/8 for the power needle in the back. I'm going to double check my specs. I printed out the initial factory adjustments for that, and we're going to get this started up. Okay, we've got the carb on. We've got the governor rod attached with a little clip which I repainted. You can see there it is. Spark plug wires are on. Exhaust intake manifold bolts are down and tightened. The fuel line is tightened. We've got power hooked up, and I've got the valves, the needle valves adjusted where they are based on the factory original settings. So we're going to see what this does. I have no idea what this is going to do because I have not started up yet. So I'm going to hit the start button and see what happens. Choke. I do adjust the choke because the thing was not closing or not on, so I had to spin around where the choke was. Hopefully that'll work properly, and we'll see what we've got. Lovely. Starting up. Gonna blow off that oil I blew into the cylinders. Still going. Nope, no, maybe not. Alright, let's try it again. She started up a little better than what she used to. Alright, I'm going to just try it again without really adjusting anything on here. Making sure that I didn't screw up the other things here. Okay, that's good. No. Might be running a little rich here. Let's see if we can get the choke twisted back a little bit to halfway. Yep. Running a little bit. Down the idle mixture a little bit. I gotta let her run for a little bit. I can't really make any adjustments until she's warmed up. Although I'm still stymied by the choke issue here. She's not surging. Well, surging a little bit. Exhaust is running pretty clear. Not a lot of blue smoke out of it like it was before. Or smoke in general. choke's about halfway. You can see here the throttle's kind of moving back and forth a little, but not much. I'm not going to force her right now. She seems to be doing okay. I'm not on, well, there's no wood except my head, so maybe the handle of the hammer. You know what? I'm starting to suspect that the coil for the choke is the wrong way. Because you know what? As it's warming up, that sucker's going the other direction. You know what that tells me? That tells me, like I have it like here, like the element's on, and that sucker's going the other direction right now. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to flip that coil the other way. Because I have this feeling that that choke, just the coil itself, the bimetal coil, is just facing the wrong way. Huh. Alrighty, it might be as simple as that to fix the choke issue. Hold on.